Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, and I'm here with my co-host, Forbes Riley. Forbes, we've seen you for many years on TV as a celebrity fitness guru, as well as a television show host. Welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Kevin.
Okay.
And of course, you may recognize him as one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. You know, one of my pet peeves is clutter. And
Me too.
our next guest, she's the queen of cleaning out your clutter. Please welcome Ms. Sue Crum.
Thank you so much, Forbes.
I am so very excited that you're
Great
here.
to see you.
All right.
Sue, thanks.
Thanks.
So how did you come to claim this title?
Well, I've realized that people have stuff, and at some points in our lives we end up with more stuff than we need.
Right.
And depending on what's going on in our world, it may just fill up with too much clutter. And what it does is it prevents all of us from getting on with living the life we want to do.
Sue, your background's pretty amazing. 30 years you go back in the school system. Tell us about your teaching, and you were a principal at one time, and all of that good stuff.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. I began as a teacher, age 21, and from that I went on to be an assistant principal of 3 different schools, assistant superintendent, and an acting superintendent. This is for a variety of school districts.
Wow.
And during that time I found you had to be really organized, you had to know what you were doing, you had to lead your staff and your community and really show good, strong leadership skills by being well organized and having procedures in place so that you could be effective, because any one day can change in the business world as well as in schools.
Right.
And
So, there's physical clutter in schools, but there's also all kinds of other clutter, right? So tell us about some of the other kinds of clutter that you get involved with.
Well, you have a lot of responsibilities and a lot of different hats to wear and people to please, different groups, community, school board members, students, staff, classified staff, certificated staff, and you have to keep all of that going, just like the orchestra leader, so to speak. So you've got all these different kinds of instruments, and you've got to keep them all organized as well as lead them. And I found that I really enjoyed that experience very much. It was very fulfilling.
But at some point that had to stop for you because of something kind of not so good.
Well, yes. My mother's health was declining, and she did not live in the same town, 100 miles away. And I have no siblings, and my father had died many years before. So I knew I had to kind of get off of that fast track and deal with that. So I left that and became in charge of taking care of her care. And I found that I was selling a house and buying a house and dealing with my mother's house, and I found how important environments are. And just as I had had a lot of different environments in the school districts and offices that I had worked in over my career, I found that when your environment is out of whack, it really makes you very unproductive, unhappy, and not bringing your best game forward. So I began staging things, staging my mother's house.
Well, when
Go
you
ahead.
say, I was going to say, when you say staging a house, what does that actually mean?
Well, it means putting the best foot forward for that house. So making that first best impression.
So somebody's going to sell a house, like maybe rearranging furniture, taking the laundry off the bed when they come in, or...
So that it shows perfectly, I guess, right? Is that a good way to say
That's
it?
a great way to say it, Kevin.
Okay.
It's really getting the eyes of the buyer in mind and letting go of that emotional clutter that somebody has attached to their house.
Okay.
So a lot of the homes that I ended up staging were ones where maybe the marriage broke up, maybe there had been a death, maybe they were moving because of a promotion, or maybe they were moving because of a loss of a job. So I had to continually read the client as to what was the reason that they were selling and play that kind of psychology role of helping them through that.
Did you ever notice when you wanted to like clean out some of their clutter that they were reluctant to do that for emotional reasons?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I kept coming back to, especially for those individuals going through trauma and stress, that you have to put on your business hat. And so I would lead through example of, look, this is a business deal. This is a piece of property to sell. We want to maximize the amount of dollars you're going to get. And people can't see that if you've got all of your stuff here.
So for years you specialized on one-on-one, which has been great.
Yes.
And then you said, wait a second, there's a bigger message that I can get out to people. So what are you into now?
Well, I found that I worked with clients besides staging, just on even clearing out their clutter and getting them organized so they could be more productive. But I found myself gravitating back to the speaking world that I had really been involved in for many years. And I had missed it. I didn't realize I had missed that part of it. And I found that I could motivate and inspire people through my speaking, that they could be more productive, more focused, and happy if they got more organized and cleared up some of the messes going on in their life.
I love the book that you've written is Clear Your Clutter, and you talk about 50 ways to organize your life, your home, or your business, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the business side of clearing
Yes.
out your clutter.
Well, what happens so much is I think in the world of work, we have so many responsibilities. And so we're asking people to switch tasks all the time. So as bosses, they get a mixed message. Well, what is it you really want me to work on? I'm being told to do this, but now over here is this job. So it's helping navigate that for them as well as for the employer. You know, what is the important thing here? What is it you're really wanting that employee to work on? And for entrepreneurs, they're trying to wear a lot of different hats, because I left a structured career and went into being a business owner, totally different. So
Right.
I had to learn that myself.
Right.
The time management, the prioritization, the delegation, the deciding what is really my strong suit and what other people can do to support my team. And so I help business owners as well as companies help that with their employees, so that their employees can come most focused to give their best when they're at work.
And you would never think that clutter existed that way in the workplace, but Kevin didn't read the 3 things that I think are exciting. What comes out of this is that you get to be calm, focused, and happy. And I think that is exciting, because I do think that I also learned that the hard way. I come from parents who kind of held on to things, and so there's always stuff. And there's absolute emotional attachment. When you want to let go of it, you walk into a room that's well organized, and you go, wow, don't you feel different?
Sure. Yeah.
The other thing that's important to note is who you hang out with. So Jack Canfield from the movie The Secret, one of my all-time favorite authors of Chicken Soup from the Soul, calls you, and I quote here, it's like having a real-life coach by your side. You are America's leading authority on clearing clutter.
Right on the cover, too.
I
That's
know.
amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jack is amazing, and I've known him for several years and really love working with him, and I assist him with his works and his projects with doing workshops.
So when a company comes to you and said, hey, you know what, there's something that's not working in my business, we were going to bring you in.
Yes.
What can you offer us?
Yes. Well, I can motivate and inspire your employees to feel better about themselves so that they can focus on the work at hand when they get to work.
Do you do this
Because
through
it's
coaching,
balance.
or how do
Right.
employers get to you and,
Yes.
and understand your services?
Thank you. They can find me on my website, and they can also find me through speaking. So I speak at different events, and then they can bring me in to speak to their particular employees. The employees themselves some of them are under a lot of stress, and everyone is feeling really overwhelmed today. And they're just like multitasking and thinking that's working. It's not. And so they're very, very overwhelmed.
That's such a great thing, and I think everyone listening, sometimes you get really busy just looking at emails or other it is, and you're busy, and I can remember at the end of the day going, I actually didn't get anything done. You can help me.
Well, think about it.
Wait, no, I need a yes from
Yes,
everybody.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I was just thinking,
that's what happens.
You've got your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, your this, that, and yeah, it can be very distracting.
Please
when,
help us
you know.
clear out the clutter.
Well, and here's the thing, we're on 24/7 nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody's got this, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday life anymore that they just close out. And so it's how to set up those boundaries so that we can be most present when we are present.
Said a couple of words that I keyed in on: prioritization and delegation.
Yes.
And that's important because so many people, they get so many things going on, and they don't know which ones are the most important that they
Right.
need to focus on. And I think what you do, as you said on the cover of the book, is give you calm, focused, and happiness as part of this whole process, right?
I have a system that I work with when I'm with individuals to help them really figure out what's going on, what is the stress that's causing them to feel such overwhelm. My clients, when they contact me to work with them, the very first thing they always ask is, do you help people on overwhelm? I hear overwhelm, 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 over and over.
So do you have a success story of somebody that you helped transform?
I brought a few.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
And so one particular client that I worked with for several months, her name is Pat, and she said, Sue, in fact, did save my life by
Whoa,
giving me
whoa.
back the life I had begun to only dream of having, with a clean, organized, easy to manage home that my family can take pride in, and can invite guests to visit.
This is an email she sent you.
This is a multi-page testimonial
Oh,
after we
wow.
worked together, because she just said, I can't go on like this. And when people contact me, they really just are filled to the brim.
I can remember, you just touched something in me. I can remember because of the way my parents, they were depression babies.
Yeah.
And I remember not wanting to bring friends to the house because of the physical clutter. It embarrassed me. And you just said that you saved her life. I'm glad actually my mom's not allowed to hear this, because I don't mean to be rude, but it bothered me. You did something very profound, not only for her, but her whole family.
Yes, I did. And she had not had anyone in that house for years and
Yeah.
years before I came and worked with her.
That's spectacular.
But another client that I worked with had said, I needed Sue with her encouragement, her organizational know-how, and her ability to keep me focused. We've lost our ability to focus. And Kevin, going back to your earlier question about working with people in the business world, they need to develop a better focus. We're so distracted, and with all of the technology that's going on, we're switching tasks continuously. So we've lost that ability.
So you come into a company and work with the CEO or the management on down and actually focus the employees into their specific duties and requirements,
Yes.
prioritization and
Yes.
delegation, right?
So that they can take back their life, you know,
Right.
and so that that employee can come into work and be really focused on, and not have to worry about what's going on over here, who's calling, who's got a crisis somewhere.
I want to, you know what, I want you to work. Can I hire you right now?
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here drooling. Could you do me a favor?
Absolutely.
So I'm all inspired. Would you please look at my audience and tell them how they can find you, and if somebody is still curious about what it is that you do?
Sure. If you're watching us today and would like to get out of overwhelm and feeling stressed, or you're a meeting planner and want someone to come in to inspire your workforce or team members, then I would be the one that you might want to talk with. And you can visit my website and see my free resources, tools, and strategies to help you get started today on a better tomorrow.
I'm there.
This goes back, in my childhood, I remember, does it work on refrigerators? I'm thinking my mother used to save weeks and weeks, and we'd find things back in the back
Right.
and growing, you know, because
that's not
she
good.
had a hard time
Letting
getting rid of the clutter in just the refrigerator alone. So I mean,
Yeah.
it starts there, but that
Right.
means there's
Right.
problems other places, right?
And clutter is really, once people start to release clutter, it's a transformation to open up better things for their life and better opportunities for creativity. Clutter is clogging us from getting on with the life we
emotionally,
imagine.
it sounds so freeing, because I'm thinking car, closet, the piles of papers on our desk, the file.
Calendar.
Yes,
You know,
and now you have a
everything.
system that actually helps this too, because not
Absolutely.
everybody can get to you.
Right, right. But I have a system, and I work with people virtually as well as in person.
Oh.
And so I do coaching by phone, and clients come to me, and we organize, if you can believe this, room by room, by telephone.
Oh, wow.
That's
Skype.
exciting.
Very nice.
And sometimes I say telephone or Skype because some of the clients are not even comfortable sharing their full spaces with me in a photograph.
It's amazing. So
Phone.
you're an author, a speaker, a coach. You do live workshops. You do over the internet workshops. So pretty much anybody, just by going to your website at the bottom of the screen, can get a hold of you to find out some way that they can work with you.
Absolutely,
And start
because they
small
don't have
and
to.
grow bigger.
Yes, and they don't have to live like that forever. They can change, and they can start out with small steps.
Do you have one more personal story that comes to mind? Because I'm thinking, I love hearing from people whose lives that you've touched.
Okay, this one is from Benita, and she said, deciding what to do with all the stuff that's polluting your personal environment becomes easier with Sue's excellent coaching.
You know, it speaks for
Fantastic.
itself. You are a delight. I'm inspired. and
Oh,
I can't,
thank you.
You can tell
Everybody's got stuff.
I hope I don't have to go to your website because I need
No.
some services. Okay,
Perfect.
thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very
Okay.
much.
All right, Sue, thank you.